Right then, so I'm currently stood in the engine bay at a championship winning and a race winning, Race of Remembrance winning car. It's just having its winter refresh, so if you're interested in that, watch what we're going to do over the next few weeks, because this has got to be ready for Autosport. Tom's got a little bit giddy and took it apart, and it's got to all go back together in 3 weeks or something like that, 3 working weeks. So anyway, so this video is not really about the cars as such. It's about what we did with it, and that was the Race of Remembrance. That were a few weeks ago now, obviously it's Remembrance weekend, so the beginning of November, usually about the second weekend in November. The weekend before, we drove the truck to RAF Wittering, filled the entire truck and the auxiliary tanks. That's 1,200 litres. I think we're about 1,300 maybe with all the extra bit they got in. 1,300 litres of fuel in there, and then did the Birkit. Came back, got the cars ready. So we did the Race of Remembrance at Anglesey, which over the weekend, without any testing, it's 12 hours of race time. You've got a couple of hours of qualifying as well as testing, so a lot of driving. And all of that were done on biofuel. So HVO, hydrogenated or whatever.
Just vegetable oil.
And that's sort of what everybody's sort of leaning towards now. Like you've got ethanol and other plant-based fuel for petrol cars. HVO is going to be the sort of plant-based, animal fat-based diesel. So the greener option. Cars running on fossil fuels is not going to be the future if everybody has their way. So we've got to look towards the other aspects. The RAF approached us and said, this is our idea. We've got a petrol Mazda MX-5 that's going to be running on sustainable petrol. Do you guys want to do it on diesel? So we'd already done the testing anyway previously. We got 40 litres of that, used it on the dyno with all the cylinder pressure monitoring and everything were absolutely perfect. So literally, because we did a video on other fuels, so if you have a look at that, the biggest thing that we noted from all of the fuels, never mind just diesel to HVO, there's no difference whatsoever, no matter what fuel we put in our cars. So running them hard and running them at idle and everything else. It's not just a race engine, because it's a pretty much standard engine. There's no difference in the cylinder pressures. So when people say, oh, what have you done to tune for the fuel? Nothing. We put diesel in, it runs. We put HVO in, it runs exactly the same. And everything in between, all the extra additives and everything, because none of them, up to now, from what we can see, make any difference. So there's no point putting more boost in there. There's no point putting more timing in there. No point putting more fuel in there. It just burns the same. So really happy we are. That all worked out. So all this came about. The RAF Central Fund. They've got some money that they want to put in there to get people. Oh my God. Do you think that rain will pick it up?
Pick it up a bit, but not up your way.
Sorry, the rain is getting quite heavy. We're in England. So yeah, this project within the RAF war, RAF Astra. So that was a sustainable fuel aspect. The race is run by Mission Motorsport, which check them out to see what they do. They don't just do car racing. There's a lot of stuff going on there, in all aspects of the RAF, Army, Navy, everything. So it's pretty good, really. Obviously, it worked out nice for us to go there and win the race overall. We're pretty happy about that. It's a shame we had so many issues with it with our gearbox. We've never had a gearbox fail as quick as we did then, but even at less power for some reason. So yeah, the only sort of downside that I can see from a consumer point of view would be at the minute it's a little bit more expensive. The stuff we've tested before that you can just buy, like in the 20 litre fuel boxes, that were upwards of £2 a litre. The stuff, when I spoke to the guys from the RAF, they reckon this were about £1.50 to £1.60 per litre. But obviously that probably when diesel were about that sort of price anyway. At the minute it's about £1.35, £1.40 depending. So not much different anyway. So obviously if this is coming out of the pumps everywhere, in theory, it should be the same price, and it probably could be cheaper because you've not got all the same tariffs and stuff like that attached to it. But unfortunately at the minute, crude oil just pours out the ground in some places, so it's pretty cheap. So if I'm getting me sort of other hat on, the other downsides I can see is we'll be replacing farmland, for agriculture, for food, and obviously animals and stuff like that, grazing and what have you. We're going to be turning that into making fuel, so there's obviously a negative there. But the benefits then are going to be that we're not having to drill big holes into the ground and have massive oil spillages in the middle of the sea to get what we need. Because at some point, motorsport, it can't really all be electric. Electric cars are not the full future, especially when it's coal power stations that are going to be charging these electric cars up. So, yeah, quite a few hurdles to jump over. But as far as there's a petrol fuel and a diesel fuel out there that doesn't come out of the ground, we can make it happen. We can make it work. We just need to make producing that even more sustainable with solar, wind, whatever. But that's a different video entirely. Yeah, the army and all the military are not going to be running on electric anytime soon, so this is a good stepping point for them. So I suppose how to end this video, really. Hopefully it's been a little bit interesting. I've not waffled on too much. I've made some notes, which I don't normally make any notes, and that's probably why it doesn't flow as, I won't say nicely, because it doesn't normally flow. But what do you guys think? Put in the comments what you think should happen in the future. What do you think about these sort of non-fossil fuels? Are these going to save the internal combustion engine? Or are we all going to be listening to whiny little motors and watching diesel generators charge electric cars up in race paddocks in the future? Let us know what you think. See you later.